hang up icon
Where?
somewhere. Maybe the phone. That little guy. Yeah. There you go. Make it too big.
All right, Rowan, can you hear us? I mean,
One new viewer on.
That's different too, because
Am I supposed to join me?
yeah. Is that it?
the only thing we don't have is no. Yeah. Yeah, you're working on that. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Rowan, can you not hear us? Or you can?
Yeah, it's a little reverby, but I can make it out. I'm also hearing myself repeated.
Oh, I think you're on Discord. Maybe you need to leave the Discord room because the room is in Discord, even though we're all off Discord.
Okay. Remove myself from Discord. Okay.
If you deafen yourself on if you right click the microphone and hit deafen, then that's basically that you're in the other call mode for Gather.
Okay.
Bennett keeps looking for you, Sam.
Uh-huh.
Keeps checking everyone who walks by. Is that him? What's our
What were
our topic today?
We were going to do demos, right? Or just kind of share out what we found so far.
Yeah.
Let's see. And then Rowan, I spoke with Rowan yesterday. Rowan's focused on like a kind of media calendar for the next week or two. So I don't know, Rowan, if you want to just share out real quickly like your thoughts there, but I pivoted Rowan away from this research. So I want to like take take blame for the fact that Rowan probably has not I would imagine has not done the ask.
No, I haven't. I was, I reprioritized, but yes, I'm just basically organizing the morass of different social channels and things like I'm gonna work on a LinkedIn page for us today, trying to kind of develop a canonical link for each of the platforms. What's the YouTube link? Making decisions like, should we just close down all other Twitch streams and just leave the Watch Me Pivot stream live? I'm just kind of here to kind of start untangling everything and find a clear path for the next 4 weeks. And I have a kind of a light schedule kind of mapped out that looks a little bit like basically coming out of the closet this week. I love that expression, Sam's. Building the case next week, which is kind of just some light intro stuff. The Spike, which is the kind of big release, that's happening August 17th to 23rd. And then we'll round out with the mini series that all of you guys have watched the first episode of, I think, but don't have time to make it through all 5 episodes. That's a commitment, But yeah. Oh, cool. All right. The second one is very dialogue heavy.
I feel like you need to like blast it at like 9:30 to all of us, like
yeah,
one a day.
Yeah, yeah. I know. I should. Yeah.
Release it to us.
Okay. It does get pretty tense when Sam comes back. There's a lot of drama. I call episode 3 "The Boss is Back."
Check it out.
Okay. Yeah, that's me.
Did anyone demo something that was like really stood out to them? Start high.
I can kind of show what I messed around with, but it's hard to demo. If someone else can go first, I can kind of get my things set up here.
Okay. Yeah, it's kind of hard to demo. I can talk through my learnings. Yeah. So I kind of did like I tried to do some like wide research to kind of understand like what people were doing within the space of like agents that have that are text messaging or iMessaging, like agents that are running local, and then like what people are doing with context and like memory kind of too. So like those kind of like iMessage, local, and then like context and memory were kind of the 3 things I was looking at. And I feel like no one has all 3. It's like either it's local and they have the context of the computer, but you have to interact with it on your computer, so therefore you're like going to your desk, or it's like assistant or agent in your iMessage, and maybe it has connectors, so it has your calendar and your Gmail, but it doesn't have like the context of your entire life in your computer. So like that seems to be one gap. And then I played with Osaurus, and I feel like what I found was it's really hard to shift tools. Like I don't know what to do with it. Like I was like, I don't know what project to give it. I have so many projects like in stream with like Plow or in Cloud Code. So I was like trying to export some context to like be able to feed it, to like give it something to do. But it was almost like, it made me realize that like the context layer is like super sticky, and like I feel like almost like the most defensible piece of that, because like anywhere, like even if like I'm like, I found this between like my people in Kitchen, like even if I wasn't loving like a certain aspect of like Kitchen that I liked in my people, if I'd started a project in Kitchen, I was going to stay in Kitchen, because like migrating that over was just like too painful to do it. So yeah, I thought that was kind of an interesting self-finding. Yeah. And then I feel like whatever like the local models on the source like kind of do, like they didn't really give me good research answers. So maybe it was good for like searching within my computer, but whenever I asked it like more research questions, it was like very so there's like strengths to local models and not so.
I'm just gonna free associate and say something that came into my mind. I don't know how relevant it is, but like this reminded me of like why it's hard to leave like a platform, like a social media platform, because you can't port, you know, your X into your IG, and you can't port your IG into your TikTok. You know, it's like the walled gardens are so siloed that you can't export your history and re-import it. It's just similar kind of scenario.
It's like as I was playing with Thesaurus, it just made me want to play with Cloud more, and it like made me get like all the like weeds that had accumulated over the last like 3 weeks in my plow setups. Like I just like wanted to like go and like prune all those weeds and get it all like working again as it was prior. So yeah, that was interesting.
Cool. Any other demos? No one has like a tool to demo.
I can demo
Sorry.
something.
So first to React Mary. Yeah, I think. Actually, let me go ahead and demo, but then because I feel like my demo is a yes and to what you're saying, Mary.
Okay. I mean, I could literally open up what I did in the source, and you guys would be like, "Oh, cool. There's some chat threads and a lot of failed." I don't know. Like it just wasn't that impressive. I don't know. So
yeah, open it up. Yeah, let's.
Okay. Let's see. I'm just gonna go full screen. You're getting everything. Okay. So, oh, I'm not. Yeah, I am. We're getting some kid noise. I don't know if that's a.
That's weird because my kids are not around. Oh, that might throw it.
Oh, maybe.
Okay, pruébelo ahora.
Oh, your brother's in our Discord channel.
Oh.
Here, I'm just gonna be.
You got to deafen to mute the speakers.
It sounded like Mark.
That's funny.
Okay. Okay, wait. Let me close this so we don't get the weird. So, email, get everything. All right. Okay, so yeah, I like played around with Thesaurus. I was like trying to figure out what it could do. I was like, okay, let's just like give it a wedding related like task to see if it could do like some research. You know, like, yeah, I did like whatever, it did okay. I did like one self-scheduled thing, which I think it did not, like, this was like not meaningfully helpful. I was like asked both this and Poke actually to like create, trying to make this bigger, like a scheduled task where it like does research on like different agentic tools that are out there and like new and up and coming and like in the space that we were kind of talking about. And so this came through this morning.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What does Thesaurus promise to offer that you wouldn't get from OpenClaw or Claude Code, or what is it specifically that it's optimizing for?
I think the their big selling point is like the security and like the local model. So like you own your own AI.
I see.
So you can, I've added my open AI subscription to this. So I've been using like the GPT-5, but like I could run this locally. And so it's like, it's open source. It's all on my own Mac. I was pouring through Reddit and they very much like considered their competitor Hermes. So that's kind of what they're trying to, the wedge they're going after, of just like security and local AI. But yeah, no, I mean, it's a good question. Okay, and then like this morning, I was like, okay, what else can I do? So I like exported a bunch of photos to a folder as like, all right, describe this flower style. And it literally just like kept failing and kept failing and kept failing. And just before this, it like finally created a contact sheet, then like it failed. So like you can give it access to like things on your computer, but I just like, I've been kind of unimpressed by what it's actually like come up with, but maybe I'm not giving it too cool stuff to do too. What is, I did, okay, yeah, this is also, I was like, okay, can I set up my text commitment scanner? And then it like kept failing. I feel like I tried one more thing with them. I like put all my like wedding contracts in like a folder and asked it for like what should be on my radar, and I can't find it now. But I don't know, I was just trying to play around with it a little bit, but nothing earth-shattering in my opinion.
What is the revenue model?
Sorry, I'm trying to figure out how to unshare. Okay, this is from Reddit. I'm trying to remember exactly when they take it, but like there's a way you can like buy token or like re-up your tokens for certain models. And so they
it's like a freemium.
They take a charge off the top of you like upping your tokens for local models, I think.
Okay.
So they're open source, so yeah. I think that's the only revenue kind of signal I've seen from them.
Okay, thanks, Mary. I had a similar experience. So let's see. Share my screen, sorry. Okay, so maybe I'll share 3 things real quick. So first, the local models. So Mary, my experience with the local models is very similar to what you just said. So it's an established space, but the desktop, like, file tool integration is poor. I think partially it's like the tools aren't built for some of these. Like, for example, I did locally. What's that?
You played with the source too?
Yeah.
Nice.
So like, for example, in locally, I asked, do you see this file? And it's like, yes, I see that file path.
Yeah.
It appears you're referring to a file located at. The path suggests it's a database file. Without more context, I can only infer the purpose. Is there anything specific? For example, are you asking how to, as a large language model, I cannot directly access your file system, right? And so there's like this like mix of, with the state-of-the-art 30 billion parameter models, there's this mix of hallucination along with a lack of tooling. Like, even when the tooling existed, the hallucination really killed the computer usage, the ability to use the
Yeah.
computer. So like in Bionic, I asked about my friend Josh, and it's, it thinks he's a wedding planner and a
Yeah.
Dallas. He's not from Dallas. A Dallas college kid dealing with maggots and rotten food. It's like maybe there was one text that he was like in Dallas for a moment, doing something that I don't know, but just like really poor. It's basically unusable. The local language models combined with like tool use.
Yeah.
So that was my first finding, which I think is basically, Mary, exactly what you're saying.
Exactly. Yeah.
The one thing that I was surprised by
Yeah.
is Hermes based on Open Router data. Hermes seems to be beating OpenClaw for usage. And one thing I realized, so I set up Hermes to manage my Airbnb, and it's actually doing like a decent job. Like Abby was like, I didn't actually tell Abby. Let me see if I can. And Abby was like, so I set up this group thread for owners. It's supposed to like message us before messaging, let's see. I think. Oh, I don't know. The message from Abby isn't in here, but Abby was like, what is going on? Oh, she actually messaged me directly. She was like, she's like, who's on this thread? I'm confused. Like she thought it was a human that like I had hired somebody, which I felt like was a good sign. So this is the Hermes how-to Plucus. And so one thing with Hermes that I really like, let's see, STR owners, is that it will actually edit its skills. So it'll do like a self-improvement review, which OpenClaw supposedly does that, but I just haven't seen it. It seems like Hermes actually. And then the other thing I think is something we should just consider consciously is there are essentially two memory formats. There's open knowledge format, which I think some of you are familiar with, and then which I would summarize as like if you're actively managing your corpus of data, like if you're writing to it and editing it, open knowledge format works great, right? So like with Hermes, there's enough data where I don't really need to passively ingest context. I can just like every night look at the messages and like edit like markdown files that I can then open in Obsidian, right? And like, I can mark each markdown file from draft to final. So this is like this is like an internal company wiki, right? Kind of situation, but it's not passively collecting facts into a database. And like your brain works. Does that make sense? I don't know if I'm connecting here on this one point, because I think it is really important.
You're saying that it is not passively like on every message. It doesn't passively process it. It's like actively every night process everything and update the memories.
There's two different methodologies for storing everything about your life. One is actual curation and gardening, right? So this is like a wiki. You might open it up in Obsidian or your Notepad. You're like it's a small set of data. Sometimes you can fit the whole wiki into your context window, right? This takes a lot of active work.
And when you say you mean like you physically, Sam is going in and pruning.
Yeah, you or a good language model, but it's like it's just like for my Airbnb, this works because it's like there's only one way to unlock the door. You know, there's only one address for the house. You know, like the number of facts that you need, you can fit into a context window into a wiki, right? But there's this other like philosophy or like thrust, which is I want to ingest everything about your life. You just throw everything at it, and then I'm going to give you some sort of interface over that, so that when you can ask me how do you unlock your vacation rental, and I'm going to be able to answer because I've ingested everything and I've put it into a vector database or like right. And there the quantity of data is so large, you're not like no human is actually going through and like managing it.
Yeah.
But these are two very different philosophies. And so people talk about memory, but they could be talking about either one. And they're like different ones work better for different scenarios. So like I haven't quite like wrapped my head around this, right? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
One is almost an abstraction of the other, right? Your wiki like life might be an abstraction of like this like underlying database, which is massive. So like when I try to process Message Vault, it's like with a local model, it would take a month to process all of my messages with a local model, right? But Hermes can process my Airbnb in like an hour or two, right? Into a wiki and convert that into a wiki. Does that make sense? Or actually, I'm using Claude Code to do that processing, but
Is it like the difference between like RAM and storage?
you know, not quite, because like RAM is ephemeral, and you would when you shut down your computer, you would. But actually, this is a good question. It's like the difference between a book and like just like a raw stream of data that is like dumped into a place, like you know a Twitter feed. You know, like everything on Twitter versus a book. You know, like all the information on a book is probably in Twitter somewhere, right? But a book, there's been a lot of effort placed into curation. It's much more condensed. Yeah. Okay. So that was, so my Airbnb with Hermes was my attempt at the first, and it seems to be working pretty well. Like I'm getting to the place where I'm, you know, like I just, let's see. You know, this was the first moment where I was like, yeah, just, there was a moment where I was like, okay, yeah, just send the message you crafted, right? Like my goal is to get to 100% of just like, just send that message kind of thing. So that's the first. On the second category of data, I evaluated Message Vault and Signet and Mem0. Mem0. And honestly, like, so Message Vault is just storing your messages. This was really cool. It gives you an API over all your messages, like all your emails, all your iMessages, all your like Google Voice messages. They have a bunch of connectors. Google Calendar, you know. Okay, so I ingested everything into Message Vault. That took like a day just to ingest the data before you even like start to actually try to create memories around it. Then I tried Signet AI on top of Message Vault, which claims a 97% long mem eval. And then I tried Mem0 on top of Message Vault, which also has some amazing claim as far as performance. I could not get either of these like to be any better than Message Vault with a vector database on top of Message Vault, just like a simple vector database. So, just organize this for a second here. Okay, so I created this memeval tool, and like there's I had a handful of different tests, but this Mary set was like just like facts about Mary that I knew I could answer based on my messages. And let's see. Wait a second. Let's actually let's look. Let me see. All right, let me just find. Okay, so okay, so this is the summary. So nothing performed well.
What does that even
Practically Message Vault's hybrid search wins. So that's plain keyword plus plus vector for semantic search. And yeah, it was basically like yeah, the LLM extraction layer doesn't earn its cost, which I thought was kind of interesting. Yeah. So
fabricated a spinal surgery that never happened?
yeah, and this is using yeah. So and so Mem0, this is using just like my iMessages, like I was which took Mem0 and Signet about 3 days to process, you know, and it would be about a month to process all of my messages. So that was interesting. Then I asked like to just use Message Vault to tell me about my life. So this just came in, so I don't know. So I'm going to read this live. Oh, I think this is public. We can talk about this now. Sam is in one of those stretches where everything important lands at once, and he's mostly holding it. He came back from paternity leave with a newborn and walked straight into closing out his old company. He handed it to Cameron and Esther as co-founders and spent 2 weeks chasing safe signatures and personally texting each investor before the news broke, which mattered more to him than the terms did. Oh my gosh, I'm going to cry. Like letting investors know. Oh gosh, it says his brother leaked it early to one of them. Sam was quietly furious and addressed it directly instead of stewing. Sorry, Daniel. I actually don't know if this is true. Like, there's like, it's unclear exactly what happened there. So in Daniel's defense, now he's all in on Plow, his new Mac AI app launched late July. He's raising candid that they're losing money every month. Here's where the strain is. Rory isn't sleeping. Abby's running on empty. Sam's burning PTO on childcare. Around the 13th, it boiled over with the in-laws. Rather than triangulating, he told them plainly he was overwhelmed and asked for help. That's growth. He and Abby are tender with each other, just depleted. Lots of mutual, I'm sorry, I love you. And he keeps angling for a date night. Gosh, I'm like getting teary. Meanwhile, his mom hit the ER mid-July, kidney infection, rib damage, then nodes and gallstones on the scans. Her healthcare navigator has noticed she can no longer advocate for herself. A hard call with his dad, confused, lonely, estranged from everyone. He drove back to California alone July 26th. The family follows in 10 days. He's stretched thin, anchored by faith, and generally good at the hard parts. Oh, gosh, holy smokes. So that's Message Vault. Alone.
Nice.
With like a frontier language model on top of it. And that got me really, really well. So you all may disagree. I don't know what I'm not self-aware about, but okay. Then another thing I tested was Mary running your messages through a simple fact extractor. So these are the most confident facts. You have a dog named Bennett. I've spoken positively about you to Yoni. I'll be in your town for a week on the 21st. I guess also on the 24th. Sorry, 2024, not the 21st. So an interesting thing is I then ran the fact extractor on the same set of data. Let me see if I can find that. Yeah. So I ran the same experiment, and it performed pretty well. Okay, so how does the fact factor compare in performance versus the other memory tools based on? So we'll see what it says, but because I can't, but it seemed like a very simple fact extractor was basically as good as Signet or Mem0, if not better.
Mhm.
So we'll see if that agrees. And then I had one other demo, which is honestly one of my favorite moments was just using Plow. So I got Plow working on a 16 gigabyte Mac, and I was like going to pick up Abby this morning, and I was like, so first of all, when I woke up, I was like, oh, I don't know. I was like, when does Abby land today? Can you look up her flight? It found the flight in the calendar. And I said, is it landing on time? And so this was the benefit of a 16 gigabyte Mac, because my MacBook Air really struggles to run the browser container. And it's like, I looked it up. It was great. It's arriving 14 minutes early. Then I was driving in, and I was like, oh, what gate did Abby's plane park at? I'm at SFO and would like to meet her at the gate, right? And so it looked it up, and it found Terminal 3, Gate D7. So I was able to meet Abby at the gate. And then here's another moment, which is just like, this is such a hassle to do. So I said, can you find the calendar for the Menlo Park School District? So it looked that up online. It should be a PDF. So then it read the PDF, and it got all the key dates. And then I said, read, this was transcribed, so it's kind of messed up, but read work for these dates one at a time and determine if they're relevant to us. Like the August 17th is not, but the first day of school is. For each relevant date, put it on the family calendar. So it put like the first day of school on the family calendar. And so now that's on my fridge, you know?
Yeah.
And then I was making breakfast at 9 a.m. and I was like, oh, am I missing my meeting? When is my first meeting today? Your first meeting is at 10 a.m. So, and then I got a reminder 10 minutes before the meeting that's happening. So that was like, I feel like Plow at its best. And
I had.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Well, the browser, to me, the browser thing was really the amazing thing, and browser plus passwords, like being able to, for example, book a like I'm going Boy Scout camping, and Daniel's staying here. I want to be able to take him, right? And I would totally be able to tell Plow, and Plow would be able to now with browser usage do this, but it just can't log in, right? Without me being in front of the computer and like authorizing one password. So that's like on my mind. That would just be, yeah, that would be a kind of a magical experience for me. Cool. Those are my updates.
I had a Plow moment this morning too. I was like, chatting with my sister. She's like overwhelmed by certain things right now, and bachelorette party, different things. And I was like, okay, let me offload this to a couple of my friends. They like wanted to help. So I literally asked Plow, I was like, all right, like I have a text thread with Katie. She's offered X. I have a text thread with Lizzie. She's offered this. And I've like been talking to Sarah about like these rough plans, like put together an email with these three or like the four people, just like outlining and asking like Katie and Lizzie to kind of like run with like Saturday afternoon, evening. And it literally like did. It was like, okay, the plan for Friday is X, like Saturday, like this winery, and then like Katie, you remember at these others, like possibly one of those, and then like literally like took all of that information and put it into a draft. It's like not perfect, but like I just have to go in and like edit a couple things and I can hit send. And it was just like so helpful to like be able to like have the context of all these text messages. It was perfect.
Can you imagine Plow with like a state-of-the-art model in Message Vault? Like that moment where it described me, and it's like it just knows, you know.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess let's see. I think there was like, let me just go over to. You guys can't see this. Yeah. So I think my takeaway from that, I know that was a bit of a long demo, is that local LLMs aren't great. Message Vault with a state-of-the-art model is amazing. Open knowledge format Carpathy, okay for small curated data sets versus basic factor. This is kind of a TBD. Browser use is amazing. And then let's see, other things I saw. Calendring is a crowded space, and I don't know why. With Walking Dead, like Clara Labs was a darling and is now basically on life support. SMS Assistance is an obvious space that has both existing poke and new entrants Molly Cantillon. Honestly, I'm actually kind of like Molly just is she's really driving at this hard, and she's I mean, I've been tracking her since the Camels and Needles days because she kind of started around the same time we got started, and she is focused on her new thing is Caspian, which is a personal chief of staff for Mac OS. So yeah,
She's the reply too, I think.
Yep.
And I have that running on my machine. Want to look at it?
Yeah, we weren't really impressed which is funny. There's this pattern where something launches and we're not super impressed by it, like Poke, and then like it like does really well. You know, like it sells for $150 million or whatever. Okay.
It's gotten better.
Yeah.
Over time, but it's still, it will like suggest replies that are just like not helpful.
There's something about like there's an argument of just like launching early based on that kind of stuff, and you know it doesn't have to be perfect because these things aren't. Okay, that's what I've learned.
I'll just go real fast. I spent a lot of the day looking on Cloud API yesterday, but I also was exploring the kind of like the infrastructure side of Domo, like you were talking about spinning up like thousands, of little Domos or whatever. And so Cloudflare has these like worker concepts that basically is interesting in that it's like these really lightweight processes that can kind of just live ephemerally. And what I thought was most interesting is that they can connect to a WebSocket server and you can wake them through this socket, right? So you can imagine like the cloud phone number hitting, waking up any one of these instances, and then they boot up really fast, like under a second or whatever. And so you can have like, this is like an example of one of these things with just some stupid UI on top of it. But this LLM is running, not a local model, but it's running in the cloud, and it gets woken up whenever you send a message. And these are like incredibly cheap to run and to maintain. They're not super powerful, so like even installing like at the base level at least, like even installing like different CLIs might be kind of a stretch, but they do a really great job with like, APIs. So I can imagine having something like this. This would solve like, hey, you want to have a lot of different Domos, and hey, you want them all to be running all of the time. This would solve that problem. And then they would need to like probably do APIs to do a lot of the work to like obviously fetch context from your Mac. But even like coding and stuff. I don't know if this is like the right space to do it in. But it could definitely like collect a bunch of context through APIs from your Mac or wherever else, and then use the LLM in the cloud here to like help come up with some answer or something.
This is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So this is all on Cloudflare, right? Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's at the edge? Do you have a sense of where?
I don't get a sense of where. I can look into that. The way that these work, I would imagine it's some edge for sure. The persistence is all like done through SQLite, so I'm sure they can like replicate that and spin them up wherever. Yeah, even like the file system is like SQLite. That's all that stuff is preserved.
There's something about like cognitively, if I launch, like I'm okay putting my personal data in Vercel because it's like my infrastructure, right? Versus loading my personal data into one of these startups, like AI calendaring startups or whatever. And I'm trying to figure out like why I feel that way. And what that means for our user base.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, it's like you still are in full control over your stuff. Like you're trusting Vercel, but you're not trusting Vercel and some startup.
Yeah, there's that.
Well, and you still kind of ownership, ownership over like what you do with it too. I mean, like even another example of kind of what I was talking about earlier with like, I have all my wedding planning stuff in a GitHub repo. And right now I can point it to Plow. I can literally put Plow in that repo and like have it do things. I can have Cloud Code in that repo doing things. And like, I have like switched off, but like, I know that I can just like point whatever I want to that repo to get stuff done. And like, that's where all the context lives.
Yeah. There's something about like, Mary, you trust that is not going to get sold on the internet or like hacked or like used for like Facebook ads or,
Yeah.
And I'm assuming, or maybe that's not true. You know what I mean? Like,
I think it was more me just wanting to control everything and not liking the options I got in these like cookie cutter services.
Yeah, there's an element of control to it. Like all of a sudden infrastructure that
I'm thinking about how many more ads I'd be getting right now if all of this was, if I was like doing this on one of the platforms versus just in my own ecosystem.
Yeah, it's like infrastructure that previously was only available to large organizations that had a team to manage it. Now is a lot more appealing to individuals. And what does that mean for Clucas, your demo? Like I'm confused about that. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we could definitely manage these for people, or like, we could have a how-to guide to set up your own Cloudflare account. But
yeah,
the main thing is that these are like also incredibly cheap. So like for it was like a flat subscription of $5, but then you could have, like as an individual, you could have probably like 100 domos each, taking outside of inference, and you can message those 100 domos by like 100 times a day.
What was the okay, please, can you compare this to like AWS? Like what's the key user experience or like user facing this unlocks X, if anything?
I think it's just a great, like this was a way to like have easy and lightweight sandboxes essentially that I think would be different than anything that I know of. I mean, I'm sure Amazon probably has some similar offering, but the way that we've developed on Amazon's infrastructure has been like you're provisioning hardware at some level, even if it's like ECS or whatever in Fargate, like you're still like saying, hey, this is my Docker container. I'm going to spin this up and run this in the cloud. And this is, like you just get like a super lightweight sandbox that is instantly provisioned, or it's not provisioned, like you just
And can users feel ownership over the container, or is there any kind of like management layer where we manage the account, but we can expose like logins to specific containers, or like can we give users a sense of this is my container? Not that you know.
I don't know. I'd have to look more into that. I don't think so. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. But just like named things, like it's not even like a container. Like there's no way you'd be able to like SSH into these things.
Yeah, I just don't. I'm thinking about Vercel. Vercel, it's like I don't SSH into it, but it feels like my infrastructure, and so it's like, okay, if I'm going to put private data in there, that's fine, and I'm not.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
I'm sure you make a pretty like dashboard
Yeah.
and control panel on top of it.
Right. All right. Anything? Any other demos?
Yeah, I can demo. Okay. So not really a demo, but I did run across this project called Minds. I think it's also like Mindo. And it's spiritually it actually seems semi-similar to Domo, that these are like personal agents that you spin up. It's the website's pretty bad though. Like you launch individual things, so like you can do it's pretty bad. So I'm not really demoing this one, but I just thought it was, similar idea. Really, I wouldn't use it based on the design. But a project that I did use, actually I need to share it.
Dude, we got to get the BizMind going on our company. We need some BizMind
I
insight.
wanted to use the creative mind to build this.
Yeah, right. Imagining a version with Plowy everywhere.
Okay, so I did try, I have two pseudo demos. One was a piece of software I used called Pieces.
Nice.
Pieces is something that connects to various bits like Gmail, Calendar, and also has a lot of access to your device. In fact, as I was using it, I realized it's more like Recall, where it takes a lot of screenshots and builds up a memory context based on what you were doing on your computer at the time. Now, there are things I like about it and things I don't like about it. The thing I like the most about it is that it has very specific applications in mind and pre-programmed. So based on what you do, it has these applications like morning brief, meeting prep, stand-up update. Like I didn't say we do stand-ups. I don't think this was even suggested. I think these are just like its main goals.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very easy to get a feel for what this can do for me off the bat. The next thing that I really liked was it has this freeform chat section, and these will just like pre-populate like what would be just like a ChatGPT style chat, but it gives suggestions. And I thought it was really interesting to have these suggestions surfaced on things that maybe need to come to my attention. And they're very easy to ignore because it's one line. I don't like the UI that it's like cut off, and if you actually want to see it, you have to do a tooltip. But there were a few things in here where some of it was like, oh, that would be interesting. Some were like, why is it even surfacing this at all? Like one was Nightwatch and Babysit PR integration. I'm like, why is it even surfacing anything related to that? And it's because in the screenshot in the Discord, someone had mentioned Nightwatch and Babysit. I think maybe it was your brother's sound. So it surfaced that. It was like a bad surfacing. And then if you look at the things it actually does do, like the stand-up update, it's looking at my terminal screen and it's coming up with all kinds of things that are, it's like the terminal's doing it, I'm not doing it. So I'd say from a high level, I like a lot of what the product does, but from what it actually like outputs, not so great. I mean, sometimes it got things like blatantly like wrong-ish, like, okay, so for dinner, was taking screenshots, and my dinner with Miley and Song were completely different dinners, but I was just discussing different dinners with them at about the same time, and it took it to think they were the same. So that's kind of how that worked. The way it works under the hood, I don't know exactly what it does to form memories, but it has a local model that's like 1.5 gigabytes that I think it uses to do a lot of the base level memory work and organizing and recalling. And then when you actually want to query it, you can do kind of call in with a more advanced model. So it's kind of like a hybrid approach.
Oh yeah, that's this is closest to our vision. The hybrid element here.
Yeah. So I mean, I would say it makes sense, but does it yield good results? Not yet.
Yeah, they rely too much on the local model for.
Do I feel like there's some potential here? Yeah. Sure.
Oh, this is funny. Your screen must have seen something I was presenting because it got my brother's architectural question.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly what happened. Yeah. Yeah, because at first I was like, where is this coming from? Because I mean, like, clearly I know about Nightwatch, but I'm like, I don't think anything had happened. And just through Discord being on the screen at one point and screenshotted that, and thought that was important.
Interesting. Cool.
And then the second demo, so the thing that I spent more time on, because that was just kind of ambiently running in the background, was a way to compare, it kind of like the word sound, to compare some memory models. What I was looking at more was the ones that were vector-based models, and I wanted to do this with a specific application in mind, which was the application of figuring out if we, in like meeting scheduling, should things be bumped or not. So this isn't fully finished, but right now it's looking at a corpus of kind of synthetic data with actual criteria on whether or not to bump meetings. It's not just about is the person important, but it's about like what commitments you may have made, the urgency, consequence of delay, life area priority, rescheduling flexibility. So it takes like a lot into account. And so here we have like certain scenarios that test each one on the left side.
Interesting.
And so there's like various different models and strategies. Aggregates, that's kind of a bad name. But this is like base level, not really looking at much. Local is fascinating because local is a database that was made by the model itself, knowing the application in mind. And this clearly did the best of anything. So I kind of feel like if we're, with applications in mind, we can basically do better than anything that's off the shelf, at least from this preliminary result. I have another corpus of data that's like all the Enron emails and like Enron calendar schedules. It's like just this big corpus that I want to run against. So we'll see if things change, but for right now, it seems like doing our own memory database with our own applications in mind will be the way to go.
So that I feel like is aligned with my experience with the fact extractor that I coded up real quickly on, like, okay, I want to be able to answer durable facts about my relationships, people in my life, and that outperforming for Mary than Mem0 and Signet.
Yeah, so I feel like this at the very least is like another data point that kind of confirms that direction.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, so the other ones I tried, so Mem0 I tried, that actually had like API failures. So that's like another just interesting point of like, at a random time I'm trying this, it's like down. I did retry and it gave results.
You were using their, not their local.
Correct, yeah. So I had like API keys that I provided and used with it. Also tried MemPalace, Super Memory. I mean, they all kind of had more or less the same result, and Zep as well. I think one thing though in the testing methodology is I did allow abstaining from making a decision to be a legitimate choice. And I think maybe I shouldn't have done that. That you should either definitely choose to bump or definitely choose to not bump and not like kind of abstain.
I didn't hear what you said at the beginning of that sentence.
Oh, so in the testing methodology, I allow like abstaining from making a decision about calendars to be acceptable. So I feel like that maybe was a mistake on my part for getting great data from this.
Why? Because that's not a valid, or why do you feel like that messed up the test?
Because in an application, then that puts the onus on the user to then make a decision. And if we want this to be fully automatic, that doesn't work. Although I do fear it might just be like an easy way out. And for scoring, are you making good decisions or bad decisions? Well, it's saying, well, I made no decision. And, I feel like I don't know if that's as strong of a signal.
I see.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe it is a good thing, but my kind of instinct is maybe I should have not done that.
I see.
How things could.
The local model got the abstentions correct.
Yeah.
Or the local.
Yeah, so anyways, next time Corpus also and see how it goes.
Cool.
So yeah, so that's the demo.
Nice.
Can you hear me? Hello, Sam, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Share my screen. Okay, so yesterday I was exploring, the question is, what's that?
This is a very, I've never seen this design before. It's a very this must have taken you a lot of time to make this design.
So this design took me from the beginning of this, or at the beginning of our daily use, I just said, hey, can you put the HTML using Plow style? And that is the result. But the thing is, we have our passwords, and we don't want our agents to know the actual passwords or the key to the passwords. I guess that's not how I feel. Like I personally, me as a using AI, I just give all the keys to the kingdom to my agents so they can work. But I know that not everyone feels that way. And so, what is the best thing possible? The best option possible for us to use? And so, 1Password has 3 ways for you to give access to your agents. And the first one is the one that I guess we used and Swanx used, that is the 1Password CLI. So you teach your agent to use the CLI, and it can access to all the vaults that you have access to, all the passwords you have access to. And whenever it's asking, it will prompt you. So you just use your biometrics to approve it. This works if the person is in front of the computer. But other than that, you won't be able to access your credentials if you're not there to approve. And every time it wants to read something, it will prompt you. So that is the 1Password CLI. The second way for you to do that is using a service account. So you create a service account and you create a vault. And during the creation of the service account, you attach the vaults you want it to have access to. So it doesn't have access to your personal vaults, and I guess you have one vault by default that is your personal, and it doesn't have access to anything by default. Only things that you attach And so when you're using the service, when you're using the service account, it's it doesn't prompt you. So I guess that's the biggest difference. So if you want your agent doing work for you while you're not there on your computer, you would just use it's called service account authentication. So it's a token, and to get access to your credentials. And
This is how I like CI pipeline works.
yeah, oh yeah, all right. And the third one is using the MCP. And the difference of the MCP is that this is the one by default from 1Password that your agent actually doesn't see the credentials. So it doesn't send your password to OpenAI, to Claude. The way it works, it injects. So the 1Password app runs the process for you and injects the environments that you want, that the process requires to run that thing. So this strategy that works by default on the 1Password app is similar to what Swags developed. So that is the difference. But it also prompts you. I think it also prompts you whenever it's accessing your credentials. So it has the benefit of not sending your information, but it also prompts you to use it, and so you need to be in front of your computer. And I guess the fourth option was the broker that Swags created. That is an actual script that whenever the browser needs to put the credential, it requests this field secret with the reference to the password, and then the broker actually types into the browser. So this way, your AI provider also doesn't receive the actual secret, just the reference to the variable.
Yeah, that's interesting. Okay. Does this before we talk about the go forward plan, does anything we've seen here change anything?
I like the message vault that he shared. Like dumping all messages there and using that as the source of truth to access all the personal messages is something that we should definitely do, I think.
Yeah. I think another big takeaway for me too, which I think we've known this from learnings from even the past like 2-3 years, is like people want to feel seen. So that moment you had, Sam, where you're like, whoa, this got me.
Yeah.
Like we saw that with Odell. We like, like that was the moment people were like, oh shit, like this gets me. This can help.
Uh-huh.
So it's like whatever we chase after, I feel like we should be chasing that moment within like the first.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
Year.
And with Message Vault, you could do it as far as like starting with the most recent month of messages, for example. Like, yeah, that's really interesting.
Definitely with use pieces, one thing was it wouldn't. So I showed a lot of like little applications. A lot of those didn't come in until like a day's worth of use, and I felt really frustrated that I couldn't get like the value shown quickly enough.
Another thing in reflection is there is so much stuff being created by other people that it doesn't feel that the right thing we need to do is creating more stuff instead, like packaging what other people are creating
Yep.
and put that as a product. Like we don't need to build our iMessage or message vault. Someone built it. Let's use it.
An advisor of our company.
Really?
And so another thing I'm getting the sense that the strategy will be to use a mix of like local models and soda models. But from seeing what these local models can do, it doesn't excite me, and it feels more like with local models we will be able to get something that doesn't work but is secure. So like, what is the value to the user versus using soda models? We will get something that actually works if you're willing to, if you trust enough to use that. But it will actually provide value versus. So.
What is the kind of expectation that local models are going to continue to exponentially get better, or?
Yeah, so there's from what people share to me on the community, they have expectations. I feel like this is rumors. I don't know, but like people share that they are building some. Imagine a Mac Mini with terabyte of RAM that will be used to run LLMs.
Yeah.
But we're not there yet.
I guess my like counter to your thinking of like, I don't know if this is totally what you're getting at of like, don't worry about local models because they're not good enough right now. I think like Sam, on one of the docs you had like HIPAA secure. Like, I don't know if people in the space care about HIPAA, but I do think that like the equivalent buzzword is local. And so like just by being able to say like we support local models, even if it doesn't have like great support, like probably is checking a box that like gets us in the door. And then especially if we think that like over time that will get exponentially better, like just having the capability now is, I mean, I don't know, I'm happy to be challenged, but like I do think we don't want to dismiss local models completely.
Yeah, I think so.
The way is that we should not be locked in anything specifically. For example, today is Claude and Codex. Claude and Codex are the best ones, but tomorrow it could change. Could be like local is the new thing, and then if we're tied to
yeah, I definitely don't think we should be tied to any, but I just don't want to like say we only do these major model, you know, like.
Yeah, well, I think so. So, Mary, to your point, you know, that moment where I got like emotional reading Message Vault, there was a local model in that pipeline, right? So, Daniel, I guess not. I think there's a refinement of what you're saying, which is like at the top level, you need to be interacting with a state-of-the-art model right now to have a good experience. We're seeing that, but like that state-of-the-art model consumed Message Vault, which used a local embedding model to like enable semantic search on top of Message Vault. So my whole private life stayed on my machine, right? And it was a really good experience, you know, in that moment for me, right? And it was the combination of the tool use and the reasoning of the state-of-the-art model with my life being curated a bit or like embedded using a local embedding model. So I think there are certain situations, certain applications where you can use a local embedding model. Similar with like very basic fact extraction, it seems like it works with a local model. Like it wasn't hallucinating, Mary, the facts that it was extracting from your messages. But you can't like query a local model, Daniel, to your point, like you can like state of the art model. Okay. Is that y'all? Do you both agree with that or disagree?
Yeah.
Why is it that you can't query a local model in the way that you can because there's not as big
Oh,
a core.
you just get crazy hallucinations. Like, am I sharing my whole screen? I think I'm just sharing like, you know, like here it's like, who do I message most on my Mac? And it's like, as an LLM created by Apple, I'm unable to access your personal data. You know, where Osiris has access to my. That's kind of part of Osiris, right? You know,
Yeah.
it's like, right, or like, you know, Bionic had access to it, and it thinks Josh is a Dallas college kid, you know, and that was never the case, right? And it's just like, or that he's a wedding planner. He's a wedding planner in Croatia now. It's just like, you all don't know Josh, but he's definitely not a wedding planner in Croatia. We went to Croatia after my wedding, you know. So as for a honeymoon, okay. So I'd love to do an exercise with y'all, which is if we pull up this, okay. Actually, before we do this, what I'm seeing here, I remain like, I'm eager to turn over the next card with this exploration. Right? We have this option 1 versus option 2, right? And when I came back from paternity, I was like, I don't know, maybe we just need to do option 1 because we're not really executing at option 2. Like maybe we just need to create how-tos and become a media company, right? And I'm really struggling with that because I'm a builder at heart. We're all builders at heart, right? And I get excited about the idea of a domo that can create other domos, that has a great state-of-the-art model in it and access to my computer, where when I'm driving to the airport, I can just be like, what gate is Abby getting into, right? Or like, do you know me? You know, or can you add Daniel to the Boy Scout camping trip that's coming up in 2 weeks? Like, I'm just not ready to give up on that yet with a catalog of how-tos. But I want to check in with y'all because this is like risky, right? We could launch something again to just like crickets. And what my proposal is that we really tighten the timeline. Like a lot of these components have already been built, and we try to launch something in, like, let's say by next Thursday.
By tomorrow.
What do you all before we go into planning mode? I want to just like gut check everyone on that reaction.
I'd be curious to know, what would be a different approach to take than kind of putting it up on Product Hunt and kind of hoping for the best. Like, I mean, we're probably 3 weeks away from actually having a legitimate kind of 360 social media presence. Does that allow this to have a little bit more of a chance at getting some foothold somewhere? Access to more opportunities for kicking tires than just Product Hunt, do or die.
So Product Hunt is very much like
It's the one
not the
place
way we'll actually launch something, I think this is a great thread. Almost, Rowan, I would love for us to launch it on Product Hunt or wherever, as like on Thursday, as like hey, we're gonna get this out, and then do the real launch maybe on Tuesday or whenever you feel like we can actually come out of the closet and like we're all like sharing it out. This thing is engaging in all of our socials, so both may be true, I guess is what I'm saying. I'm not wed to Product Hunt, but I like it. It's relatively low cost and it's better than nothing in my opinion. While we figure out how to actually launch the product.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other reactions?
And we got
I'll put another way.
our
Rhoda, I
Domo.
love that, and I think that's the calendar that we're talking about, and like how how do we integrate the media calendar with our product launches?
Yep.
Sorry, Mary. Go ahead.
I was just saying, and we got one user from our. I guess I said Domo how to, but Hermes how to launch.
Yep. And I love the idea of like each component of these being like reusable, right? Okay, any other reactions?
Do we know what exactly are we launching next week?
I have a proposal that we'll work on right now. But let's get all the reactions out.
I mean, I guess a similar reaction to Daniel. I feel like launching on a date, I feel like schedule is like one of the like constraint components, but I think the product and how good the product can be, and if the product makes sense in that schedule is like something to consider. So it's hard to say like, oh, doing it on a certain date, when does that actually make sense for what the proposal is?
Yeah. And it may not. I mean, that's the exercise we got to go through right now. Is like, okay, what is the manageable scope? Okay. Any other reactions?
My main reaction, I think, is that like I'm still very excited for option 2. I think there's something that we could prototype quickly here. Like the message ball stuff, I think, has always been really interesting to me. So that's what you showed is really exciting. There is just so much stuff in this space, though, where it is like very overwhelming. But I would imagine. So that just makes me think that like, these shorter cycles and getting stuff out, or like interviewing people, like giving feedback in a short cycle is that's motivating for me.
Cool. Okay, let's figure out what that short cycle looks like. Okay. So why doesn't everybody pull this up? And I'm going to propose. I'm going to propose that MVP. Thanks, buddy.
Why not Christina's got those for you?
Thank you.
Where's all the other mail
Um,
Christina gave you?
I don't know. I have to look. Like, let me do this meeting though. Then I'll quick. Okay, so This is my proposal for the MVP that we launch in a week.
Daddy, wait, can I have some of this?
That's Daniel's. You have to ask him. He's on this call. You can ask him.
Oh, Daniel's?
Yeah, he's staying here.
Where even is he?
You hear him?
Well, like,
There he is.
Oh.
Do you see him?
why aren't you going to watch me pivot today?
I am going in.
Oh.
I just wanted to make breakfast for you. So
I don't know what Mark wants, but you can give him.
he wants some of your.
No, I don't.
You don't?
I don't.
Why not?
I don't.
Okay. Okay, this is what I'm proposing. And I would love a reaction to it. Is there anything that we should cut? Any questions about the spec?
So essentially, this is taking the how-to or seed kind of structure and focusing it on just different types of Domo setups. I mean, or it's just refiguring our how-tos.
Think of this as the builder index. So there's the Domo leaderboard.
Builder index. Yeah.
Right. You know, and it's going to be like a table I don't know what the UX and there's something about the leaderboard that people solve or that people like. Sorry, right? I don't, Mary. Maybe I think you and I should talk more about this, right? But then there's like a use, duplicate this Domo link. But there's effectively like, so this is, in some ways, this is like taking what Daniel's doing or what we learned from Daniel and OpenClaw and to the extreme where like you have a leaderboard of domos that you can interact with, a bunch of them you can interact with, right? Some might be a video, right? Like the life dashboard, this, so like, in the leaderboard, you might have like a watch, which is like pops up a video or something like that. And then there's like launch. This actually, so there's like a leaderboard where you can be like, oh, this is actually a live one. I can go check it out. And then I want to launch my product and I want to be able to have a chat that can explain the product, right? And so I can duplicate this Domo and customize it and run it in my infrastructure. I don't know what the third Domo is. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Like this is,
Well, so there's two elements.
This is,
Leaderboard element and.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, this is the builder. We're creating like the Domo index.
Yeah. The Domo index.
In some ways we're trying to learn and iterate, right? And one of the things that's worked is this leaderboard, and people on this leaderboard want to learn from each other, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, okay. Were you going to say something?
No.
The key jobs to be done are like, you want to see real domos that actually work, and you want to and easily and you want to get credibility for building a real Domo that works, Okay. Any other questions about like 1, 2, or 3?
Yeah, the story doesn't make a ton of sense to me. Like
What doesn't make a ton of sense?
the story of this, like I feel like we should lean more heavily onto like the message vault part or some of the like native, like the local part of the Mac, right? Like if you just have a Domo, like if you were to try to put the manage my life Domo and launch something like that next week, that's no different in my mind than like the how-to guide.
Okay. So are you arguing that we should launch 3 first?
I think three feels like a different. If you add 3 in, I feel like it now feels like a very differentiated. Right?
Oh, it is. It is. Yeah. The goal is by Thursday that we're done. We're doing 1, 2, and 3. Sorry.
Yeah.
2 is the new thing. So we've kind of talked the most about 2. But
Okay, so 2 is okay. So you're saying 2 is just like the leaderboard, but okay, but the way that I'm more focused, the leaderboard seems like a great idea and a lot more straightforward than how these domos actually work. So maybe we're not ready to talk about how the domos work, but that's where I'm getting kind of hung up right now.
yeah. And there is an argument that we may launch these one at a time. Like we may launch the local CLI first. We'll need to work with Rowan on the launch coordination.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So what I would like to do now is
I'm still too confused to ask more questions. I just want to throw that out there. Like I don't have a grasp. This is Mary. I don't have a full grasp over this body of work to ask pointed questions yet.
Okay, should we
Yeah, maybe? Can we break down what, like, in your mind, like how to manage my life Domo would work? Like, and for me, and probably for Mary too, it sounds like would be helpful to know, like, where is the main agent? Like, is this agent running in like one of these like lightweight Cloudflare things that I was subscribing, like in the cloud, and then it communicates with
Yeah, so it's hosted on Cloudflare. It has access to my Mac and can query my Mac in the same way I just demoed Claude Code was able to query my Mac, query Message Vault, right? The hero demos, I mean, in some, I guess to describe this further, I would just be describing like how we're using Plow today, right? But we're taking parts of Plow's infrastructure, we're making it packaged, and we're packaging it in a way where any agent can use it. Kind of like in some ways we already have a lot of this, right? Like we have these magical moments, right? With Plow today, Mary's talking about them, I'm talking about them. With Message Vault, right? We just had that, right? So the key is, or I think the body of work is to break that stuff up into tools that can be used by any agent. That's number 3. This is like take what. That's this body of work. We already have these tools working, to some degree. This body of work is domos that deploy domos over iMessage. I would describe this as easy, dead simple agent. Like, no one's going to create an easier way to provision an agent than us. All right, that's what we're talking about here. The Domo code base is open source. Like, people could go and provision their own agents their own way if they want to, right? And then the Domo index is like just like, like make, this community is alive. Like, we've done this with Watch Me Pivot already. Like, we're gonna lean into that win and do it for Domos. So there's sort of three different messages, right? Like, my life stays full. My life stays local. That's this body of work. We've invested in that already. This community is alive, and a dead simple agent provisioning.
Okay.
Is
So
this making
for number one, like I would imagine it's not open source as much as it is like AR. Like is the Mac CLI going to be open source?
Yeah, everything's open source, unless it runs on our servers, and we the clients are all open source. The Domo code is open source. Like, people could take Domo and deploy it somewhere else if they wanted. But like the Plow iMessage server code is not open source, right?
Okay, so then just to reiterate, we're basically taking Plow as it is today, making it the functionality of like the access to your Mac CLI, the agent, the LLM, for the most part, live cloud now. Maybe anywhere and just communicate with the CLI and get access to the great stuff from the all of that. Like maybe there's some LLM on the Mac CLI, but it's not like the agent that you're.
The thing we need to figure out as far as the local LLM is running a Mac OS embedding model. So I ran the embeddings that I used, like for Message Vault, I used with Ollama, and I don't know if there's like a better option,
Yeah.
And then we may have a long-term memory manager on top of it, like nightly dreaming with a local model. Essentially creating a kind of a fact database, like Mary's flying into Seattle on this date,
And then when we think about like external, so Message Vault is like a great archive of your all of your calendar and messages and stuff. But then there's another component of like how are we gonna send messages and add events and that kind of stuff. So we'll need to think through like that.
Sending messages through the iMessage. Right. The default Domo is integrated into the iMessage CLI, the Plow iMessage CLI.
Not the iMessage I care as much about, but like how is it gonna send an email and send and create calendar events?
Yeah, that's later. We'll have a third-party integration into Google, right?
Okay.
So
then you don't care if that's happening actually in the cloud or on the Mac.
What I don't want to do is export my entire life onto the cloud. I'm okay with Domo using the Google API to send an email,
Yeah.
But my life has to stay on my computer. And as another fast follow would be some sort of like access control app, I want to be able to see what are my demos doing with my data on my computer.
Mhm.
Right. That's sort of the plow. I don't know. What's all this? You all know what I'm about to show, though. This is so annoying. Are you really? This is why Jonathan says don't rely on the menu bar. But, okay. Yeah, so there's some sort of access control app. Okay, any other questions? Where it's already noon. We may not. I mean, this is going to take some. This may not be the right answer, right? Like, I don't know. Over the course of the next couple of days, we may change this spec.
I think the architecture and the 1, 2, 3, like all this was really compelling to me. The thing that's the weakest, I think, is like what the demos actually are, which is a little frustrating. But
Okay, there's a world where like we substitute the word Hermes for domo, and there are a lot. If we want to like rely on, like I've got an Airbnb Hermes that's close to working, right? Like that would be in this leaderboard. I think there's prior art of like Hermes agents working.
Okay, so let's say we do this work. We get the architecture working, message vault up, we have domos that can be provisioned, talk with the map when necessary. We launch it. What then? What are we looking for? What objective?
Your microphone is a bit muffled, but I think what I'm inferring is you're asking, what are we going to learn? What are we hoping to learn from the launch? Yeah. So, this is going to continue to not be satisfying, but we're just trying to follow user signals, right? So, our one user is using the iMessage CLI, right? So we, can we pull on that thread as part of this launch and get more adoption of the iMessage CLI? We've got users. This is not actually this. So our one user. We've got 30 people on the Watch Me Pivot leaderboard, right? Can we replicate that? Like an amazing success would be to have 30 domos running on a leaderboard with like the ability to to actually see demos of those domos, copy them and deploy them, right? Like that I could sell to investors, and would justify further investment, right? Now, let's say we launch it to crickets. That's probably not entirely going to be the case. Like there'll be some thread, right? And let's say we want to go all out with Rowan with the media plan. Let's say we launch the OpenClaw podcast and we link to this launch, and it's still like nothing, right? At that point, one of two things will be true. One is like we'll see some signal that we'll be able to pull the thread on, right, and invest further in. The other is if there's absolutely no signal, then it's like, okay, we're option one, a media company, right? America's Test Kitchen. So I don't know if that answers your question, but that is like how I imagined the thread being pulled and leading to different outcomes.
Well, I mean, I think it brings up the second question, I guess, which is a little bit more on the what are these for, is if we, well, speak up and slow.
I just don't know where the microphone is. Is it on Mary's machine?
If 30 people, 30 people is a good number. What do we say to try to entice 30 people to try it? We can't tell them in architecture that doesn't mean much, right? So what's our pitch to get them to install and use this?
I mean, I think this is the easiest agent that solves a real problem in your life and does it while protecting your privacy. And the real problem is, like, you can go here, you can see somebody else who has the same problem as you, and they are solving it with a Domo. Oh, you manage an Airbnb, there's a Domo Airbnb, and you can actually see how it works. Oh, you have a busy calendar and you don't love passing all of your information onto the internet in order for someone to manage your calendar, you can see a Domo that solves that problem.
What does it mean to see like a Domo that solves the problem?
That's the Domo index. It's the equivalent of the builder index, but for Domos, right? So, right, if you go to like the hypothetical Domo index, you might see on, Airbnb Domo, it uses, 3 billion tokens. There's a, like a watch the Airbnb video. There's a duplicate this Domo. You hit that button and then it sets it up for you. It walks you through how to set it up for your situation. Bye. Thank you so much, Carola. Bye.
Is this like I create my Domo, but it's hard for me to visualize like what does it mean to see your Domo that sells your Airbnb? Like,
Yeah, there are two situations. One is a live demo. We want to enable live demos because we know they work well, right? So for some demos, you may be comfortable exposing it to anyone on the internet, right? My customer support demo, or my sales demo, or my product launch demo that integrates with X. You want to try this out? Go to X and actually message my Domo. It's actually a link, right? So in this Domo index, this one actually links to your product hunt launch, the Launch My Product Domo, right? Links to an actual product hunt launch where you can interact with the Domo, right? Or maybe it links to your Instagram, or maybe there's a manage my social media Domo. Right? So in some situations, the live Domo, the calendar scheduler may also be live, and I can actually click and actually see the video, see the live stream. These are just links, right? On Watch Me Pivot, the equivalent of this is like, you click on somebody's profile, and you get a video, right? In our situation, like these might be links, right? Like I click and I see a live stream of the Domo actually working. Or there may be situations where it's not live, right? And you're just seeing the video of somebody describe what they built.
is this the thing? Other than having the index, is this same idea of the code launch that put the feed for Domo, where there was a like stream of this running, what's connected to?
I'm not getting. It's just really muffled.
My question is, other than the index page, this feels really similar to what we did with Lucas Domo launch, where there was a live stream of the thing running, where I could test his Domo calendar by talking to it on the chat. So I'm trying to understand if we're trying to do more of this and expecting different results.
Yep. Yeah. That was a failed test, right? So that failed not because of the premise. We know if you launch an interactive product, people interact with it, leave comments, and that drives more prominence in the feed. That is already that test we launched, and it just wasn't clear that users could interact with it during the key moments of that launch, which is like the first 6 hours, right? And so whether you could do that on Product Hunt, that's unknown at this point because we didn't launch that effectively, right? You may not be able to execute that strategy on Product Hunt. I don't know. Honestly, I don't really care because I know that you can launch a product effectively when it's interactive. Like making something interactive is like, that's no longer an open question for me as far as whether or not we want to launch it. So we absolutely want to do it again and expect different results. In fact, I don't really want to launch products that are not interactive going forward. Like there may be situations we have no other option, but that's just like a default posture for us. Does that answer your question?
I think so. It's clear that we want to make interactive products.
If you launch something and it's like buried in a comment somewhere that it's interactive, it's just we know that's not going to work. That's I mean, we could have guessed that before. I'm not like knocking the launch. We're doing all this so quickly, right? Like.
Yeah, I mean, I would say even the like Plow 100 thing we did the first time around, like successful in the sense that we got 20 users, do it. There was a different type of interactive element to it, but. The dog has been staring at me for the last hour. I think it's guilty. I think it does. Are we at a pausing point or?
Yeah, I think. Let's move on. Let's there is something we need to do though before we finish, which is we need to assign ownership. So I'd like everyone to go to this doc and highlight in your color. So Mary, you're going to own just like kind of the overall user experience. So in some ways, Mary, you're highlighting everything. So you don't have a color here, but for the engineers, highlight what you are going to own and commit to delivering by Friday or Thursday. And if it's not highlighted, then that means we don't have an owner. Like we can't do it, right? And so we'll have to cut scope somehow. Okay, so that's the last exercise. Just spend 5 minutes on that. I'm going to drive in. How's everyone feeling?
You just have to dig in. Pull some dirt.
What's that?
I said till some dirt. Dig in.
Yeah, my only thought is like I really think we need better
Domo use cases.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to focus on.
I think they need to be. Yeah, I don't know if this is helpful. I mean, maybe Sam, maybe the three of us can think about this too, but I'm like, can they all be structured around one of those like aha moments? Like what you did this morning. Like, is there a domo for that? Of like, read my messages and like, tell me, am I okay? Like, this is the state of my being. Or like, even like the text commitment scanner that I've had. Like, I had an aha moment with that right away. And maybe not everyone will, but the likelihood of that, like, can that be a domo?
Yeah, right.
Like,
right.
What are these like stressors in people's lives, and like, what's like one thing that we can highlight for them right away that like, I don't know if there's other off moments we've had over using Plow or different agents. Like your 10-minute meeting suggestion, like maybe I'm thinking too small, but like, are those domos, or is that too small to be a domo? Like,
I think nothing's too small to be a domo. That's the cool thing about domo.
Yeah.
Just like
So
targeted, like, this solves a real problem in my life.
Meeting reminder.
Yeah.
I have a package digest that I get every day. That's actually pretty helpful. I don't know. Like,
yeah, I would love to work on this with you, Mary. This can be our focus. And like I could help program some of these.
Yeah.
But like us just calling up people for the next week and like trying to figure out like what problem do you have? Can we turn it into a domo? Put you on the leaderboard.
I almost want like, it might be too open-ended, but I'm like almost imagining the how, or like the domo page is like it's either like a quick quiz or a chat bot that's like, what's your biggest problem right now? And you like put something in and then it suggests a domo for you. Or
yeah.
Like, and if we don't have a domo
builder.
If we don't have a domo for you, it shoots a Slack or Discord to Lucas and he builds it within 24 hours,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's actually good. Oh, domo builder service. That's actually just like us in the back end.
Sit down on the therapist couch. What's going on today? You drop it and we give you a solution.
Okay. All right. Hey everyone. I am excited about this. I don't know if it's going to work or not. This is such a crowded space. I don't think Thursday is like the test of whether or not this works when we launched a product hunt. I think the real test is Rowan's go-to-market and media calendar and what comes out of that. And but I think this is the best swing. I think this is the best way we can use the next month is building this product and launching it in a way that's complementary with Rowan's media calendar. And if we do that and we freaking launch a podcast with the founder of OpenClaw and like co-launch this and it launches to crickets and we're like promoting it on our socials and we've got this kick-ass video and like no one gives a shit, like we swung for the fence, you know what I mean? Like if we're doing a media business or like an America's Test Kitchen business, like we'll do it knowing like we built something that at least we're excited about.
What?
I'm going to be focusing on driving Domo FOMO. Let's see where we get.
FOMO.
All right.
We gotta like rebrand like dumb, obvious what is an MO? What is
Yeah.
Domo stand?
Yeah.
Yeah. Where did Domo come from?
Sushi restaurant.
Sushi. Oh, that's my favorite sushi restaurant.
It means like home or something, right? Like,
Domo sushi. Is that really where it came from?
yeah, that's how I know it. Yeah.
Oh.
That was a good name for like my little home calendar.
It means in Japanese. It means thanks, hello, sorry, or can serve as an intensifier meaning very, depending on the context. Like thank you very much.
Like,
Domo arigato.
Thing.
oh, does it domesticate?
Yeah.
Domicile?
Domicile. Yeah.
Domo style. Yeah.
Like. Yeah.
Cool.
Come on in so I can give you a hug before I go.
All right. Sounds good. See y'all.
Yeah. Never know how to get off this thing. How do I leave? Oh, leave.